G'day guys and gal, yeah I know, more Primarch content. Well guess what buddy, people like Primarchs, and with the Primarchs returning to the setting left, right and center, there is a shitload of lore regarding them, hence a shitload of stuff for me to talk about. One thing we haven't spoken about yet is what the other factions and races within 40k think about the Primarchs. After all, they are the ones that usually have to fight them these days, so I can imagine their opinions are relatively strong on the matter. Before we get started, as I've said a few times now, I only have a partner with brands for this channel that I'm also a customer of, just based off principle and only showing you guys things I genuinely believe can add value to your life, and no one highlights this better than Geology. Simply put, if you're not currently employing a skincare routine, you're doing yourself a massive disservice, but Geology gets it. Us blokes weren't told what products to use or how to use them, so they take up the guesswork by getting you to fill out a quick survey before sending a custom skincare regime to your door with easy to follow instructions. My routine involves everyday face wash in the shower, then morning cream that has some sunscreen in it, and then at nighttime I use the retinol cream as well as some nourishing eye cream, and I can comfortably say my skin has never looked better. Geology has reduced my oily skin, helped clear up my under eye bags, and I get way less acne than I used to. On top of that, they also have a range of nice smelling natural body washes, shampoos, and deodorants. So to get 70% off your first skincare package, as well as a free gift and 50% off another product of your choice, god damn that is value, then use my link, QR code on screen, or code Majorkill70. Cheers to Geology for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over each faction and race's opinion of the Primarchs within Warhammer 40k. We can look at their opinion in both 30k and the returning Primarchs of 40k, if applicable. It would be very interesting to see if their opinion had changed. Let's get into it. We may as well start with how the Imperium views the Primarchs, just as a general overview. In 30k, when the light of reason and illumination dominated the galaxy, most of the humanity saw the Primarchs as these unkillable saviors and heroes. However, not demigods or gods, as that was a no-no. They were completely awed to be in their presence, with very few humans being able to look a Primarch in the eye. But once again, they were still seen as these tangible, humanized things. Many humans who had spent enough time with the Primarch could befriend them and handle being in their presence. Primarchs also instilled a massive sense of bravery, confidence, and even energy into humans around them. An exhausted human who was on the brink of passing out would snap to attention and be restored just from seeing a Primarch, let alone being ordered to pull their shit together. In 40k, the Primarchs are more so on the mythical side, with Guilliman being seen as the returned son of their god, a saint reborn, a walking demigod. At first, Guilliman tried to reject the reverence he was receiving, but has since begun using it as a way to inspire and invigorate the Imperium's people. The Lion's return was a lot more low-key and less godly. His armor is dark, he moves unseen and strikes at the enemy where he is needed. Much more a blade in the dark than the shining beacon that is Guilliman. People also seem to have an easier time being around the Lion without jizzing themselves, but that is more so due to the Lion deliberately keeping his Primarch aura low-key rather than him being less impressive than Guilliman. On the flip side, the Imperium views the traitor demon Primarchs with terror and fear. When Angron is on a battlefield, everyone feels rage and pain. When Magnus is present, everyone gets confused. When Mortarion is present, everyone feels sick and tired, and when Fulgrim is present, everyone has a boner. Basically, it's very difficult for mortals to fight demon Primarchs due to their auras. However, in saying that, a demon Primarch is massive and makes for a big target, so even scared or confused guardsmen can still point a gun in their direction and fire. The very aura that makes it hard to fight demon Primarchs invigorates traitor marines and cultists who fight their hearts out when in the presence of their demon overlords. Traitor Primarchs and loyalist Primarchs are two sides of the same coin. Traitors fear and hate loyalist Primarchs, insulting them whilst also respecting how dangerous they are. Loyalists hate and fear traitor Primarchs, insulting them and just not respecting them, just insulting them. The Eldar, being one of the oldest races, have a diverse range of opinions on the Primarchs, from fuck this oversized monkey and his dumb fuck sons, all the way to this giant blonde dude might be our salvation. I don't think the Eldar have all ever agreed on anything. Even different craftworlds will have entirely different opinions. A lot of people just think the Eldar see all of humanity as primitive retards, and whilst the name Monkai exists for a reason, that isn't entirely the case. Some Eldar spoke with Lorgar, allowed him on board their craftworld, and taught him their language during the Great Crusade, only for Lorgar to then say, "Okay xenos," and then massacre them. Other Eldar saw Ferrus Manus as their last chance to prevent the Horus Heresy and try to convince them of their cause and change fate. You can imagine that didn't go very well. Eldrad worked his ass off during the Heresy to get Vulcan to Terra in order to help save the Imperium. The Cabal, which included some senior Eldar in it, believed the Emperor to be the only human ever born that would be worthy as their equal and who they would invite to join them, so by extension his direct sons would also carry some respect in that regard. Eldrad also tried to treat peacefully with Fulgrim in an attempt to stop the Heresy, but that also ended badly when Eldrad realized Fulgrim was already falling to Slaanesh. So overall, most interactions between the Eldar and the Primarchs ended badly, creating a lot of tension and wariness between them. The Dark Eldar fucking hate Primarchs, especially Vulcan since he cockblocked the shit out of them on Nocturne and has literally invaded Commorragh on multiple occasions. Primarchs make raiding real space incredibly unfun. It was an Eldar strike team that tried to kill Angron when he was a child, likely at the direction of a Farseer who foresaw the monster Angron would become and the damage he would do to the galaxy. In the current setting, the Eldar avoid the demon Primarchs like the plague, actively avoiding any encounters with them. In an interesting turn, a large portion of the Eldar, united under the Ynnari, joined forces with the Imperium to save many heroes from the fall of Cadia and bring them to Macragge to revive Guilliman. Some Eldar see humanity as the shield the Eldar need to survive, with Guilliman being the best human to hold that shield. If you're wondering what the Exodites' opinion is, I don't think they have one, as long as you stay off their lawn, and I have no fucking clue what the Harlequins think. Next up, let's suss what the Orks think. The Orks love a good scrap. No one is going to debate that, but when it comes to Primarchs, there is such a thing as too much of a scrap if you would believe it. See, when it comes to Orks, Primarchs excel in killing them. Orks are straightforward, don't rely too much on warp powers, don't have a bunch of high caliber sniper rifles. Orks want to kill Primarchs in glorious melee combat, which never goes well for them. In one battle, the Orks killed some White Scars, so Jagged-Eye Khan became enraged and became a literal whirlwind of death. He was killing Orks so fast and so brutally that they were like, wait, this fucking sucks. It wasn't like they had a chance to get a swing in, get parried and then killed. It was just like an instant death killing field. Fighting became incredibly unfun and the Orks broke and ran, not getting far before they too were diced into ribbons. In a similar vein, when Horus and his Lunar Wolves decimated the Orks on Ulanor, some Orks actually scavenged Lunar Wolf armor and wore it, whilst other Orks started wearing black and white patterns to represent toughness. Although the lore isn't explicit, it is implied they did this because Horus and his sons kicked their asses so badly that their color scheme became associated with power. In a similar vein, Leman Russ killed so many Orks during the Wheel of Fire campaign that one of his nicknames was Slayer of Greenskins. Although we don't get to see what the Orks thought about that one, I assume he brutalized them just as much as the Khan did. As for Rogel Dawn, he once managed to bait a gigantic Ork army into a valley and then sprung a fucked up trap, surrounding the Orks and slaughtering them to the last. Vulcan took part in the War of the Beast, fighting against and scoring a mutual kill against the Beast itself, who was noted to be more powerful than Vulcan. So that's the only time an Ork seems to have managed to get the upper hand against a Primarch, not counting the time that big ass Ork hugged the Emperor. Either way, virtually every time a Primarch goes up against the Orks, it ends in the total massacre and humiliation of said Orks, so I don't think the Orks like the Primarchs much anymore, despite the idea of them sounding pretty fun to begin with. How about the Necrons? Well, at a glance, you would think there wouldn't be any lore here, with most Necrons asleep during the Heresy and very little 40k lore of Primarch and Necron interactions, but it actually goes deeper than you would think. The most infamous example I can think of is when the Silent King appeared to Dante wearing a death mask of Sanguinius, something Dante found extremely insulting. However, the Silent King explained that the mask was a gift from Sanguinius and that they were friends during the Great Crusade. Now, is this actually true, and did they actually meet and were friendly, or was the Silent King using this as a manipulation tactic against Dante? I'm going to lean towards it being true, as the Silent King is known to be honorable and honest. Wearing a death mask like that as a lie would be extremely petty and strange. Drazyn the Infinite seems to also have had a few run-ins with the Primarchs. In an old White Dwarf magazine, so take this with a grain of salt, Drazyn is speaking with Cato Sicarius and refers to Guilliman as an old friend of his. I can definitely imagine Necrons appearing to some of the Primarchs and speaking to them during the Great Crusade, maybe posing as ancient guardians of the galaxy and appearing unthreatening. 100% the Necrons would have done this out of boredom. Despite acting all high and mighty and saying that the new races are all beneath them, a Primarch would be a curiosity for a Necron. This is further proven by Drazyn being willing to trade a massive amount of uncorrupted Great Crusade era Emperor's gene seed that he stole for a perfect clone of Fulgrim. In a less diplomatic vein, it's heavily implied that some Necrons were active on Medusa, Ferrus Manus' homeworld, and that he destroyed a number of them before having his epic showdown with a big-ass Necron construct, resulting in him gaining his silvery Necrodermis hands. But the Necrons never really reacted to that, nor did they react to his hands as far as I can tell. I mean, they haven't even commented on that, so can't say much else in that regard. In the current setting, the Primarchs haven't gone up against the Necrons as far as I know. Demon Primarchs have been attacking the Imperium, not Tomb Worlds, whilst the Lion and Guilliman have been focusing on combating Chaos and the Tyranids. However, in an upcoming book, it seems G-Men and the Silent King will finally have a showdown, which should be a lot of fun. The Tau have had no interaction or reaction to the Primarchs. The Tau didn't even really exist during the Heresy, were a bunch of primitive farmers up until semi-recently, and their empire is far away from all the super spicy war zones. No Primarch is going to redirect their effort to the Tau at this time, nor did the Tau know much about what is happening beyond their own borders. However, the eventual interaction between Guilliman and the Tau is sure to be hilarious. The Tyranids aren't the most insightful or chattiest of factions, but actions speak louder than words. They haven't had any run-ins with the demon Primarchs yet, but have actually fought against the Loyalists, both of them. Guilliman led the Indomitus Crusade to save Dante at the end of the devastation of Baal, and with so many other engagements against the Tyranids occurring, G-Man definitely would have fought them on numerous occasions. As for the Lion, he recently led the Dark Angels against the Tyranid force, taking out a Hive Tyrant easily in melee combat. So the hive mind is definitely aware of the Primarchs. I imagine it would want to consume their DNA and biomass, using it to create something truly horrifying, with some even theorizing that the newly created Norn emissary was designed as a countermeasure to Primarch level threats. So far it doesn't seem too bothered by the Primarchs though. The Tyranids have never really been too bothered by singular powerful enemies, thinking it can just throw enough carnifexes at them until they are dead, which to be fair is a pretty solid strategy. We are yet to see as dramatic as a reaction as creating a new hive fleet, like the Tyranids did when the Great Rift opened to combat chaos, but if the Primarchs keep kicking their asses, I'm sure we'll see them do something dramatic soon. As always, the Leagues of Votann have fuck all lore, but I'm sure they would be curious to treat with one of the Emperor's sons, rumours of whom would have likely reached them by now. Whether the other factions love them or hate them, pretty much all of them see them as awe-inspiring curiosities. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up a Major Mini. We have so many available now, there is something for everyone. Hit the subscribe button and hit the real subscribe button for more reactful content. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.